All right. Welcome, everybody. It's the journalist Sin-seer. And today I have a special guest. Today we'll be talking about the play, line of items at his website, as well as food and more. Please, everybody, welcome Culture Freedom from the legendary Poor Righteous Teachers. Thank you so much for joining this evening.
What's up, man? It's always a pleasure to talk to you, man, and be a part of your show, your podcast. Man, listen, happy to see you, man. Blessed to be on
Absolutely.
here.
No doubt. I was supposed to head your way to visit you, but I'm definitely going to make that into fruition this year and enjoy everything that you have to offer. You have a big 2024 coming up and things going on right now. Let's talk a little bit about the play that you're involved in. It's called Ghetto Gods of Divine. Talk a little bit about how that play came about.
Well, Ghetto Gods of Divine Land came about by some writers who work for the Passage Theater in Trenton, New Jersey. And it's a non-for-profit program where kids are turned on to the arts. You know, it's an outlet where they can come, be themselves, learn different life skills, but also express themselves through the creative means of the arts. So sometimes they have plays, sometimes it's about like they'll have a graffiti class, sometimes they'll have a hip hop camp, sometimes they'll do dance. It's just a bunch of, just a different way for the kids in the area to come out and be a part of something special. As we know, all kids are not interested in the same thing, and sometimes kids in the arts can be put out as like outcasts. So some of the writers from there, they contacted us, and during the 50th anniversary of hip hop, and they said they wanted to honor the group by putting together a play. The director name is Ozzie Jones. He was a part of a group called Name from Philadelphia, PA. I had done some production from him for him in the past, along with his partner at the time, Grand Agent. And it just came back for a full circle, man. And he said, "Listen, man." He called me up one day. He said, "Hey, man, I'm interested in doing a play on y'all story or something with your music as the center of the play." And I was like, bet, because I knew him and I've always been interested in the arts, man. I mean, I just love anything like culinary arts, anything that has to do with the creative process.
Right. Now that stage set is set to the tone of the history of Mayor Donnelly projects in Trenton.
Yeah, so the Dolly Homes projects or the Page Home projects is where I grew up. It's where the group actually sprung from. Me and Wise, we knew each other for a long time, which I said in the last interview that we had. But the projects there is where we actually formed PRT, and it's politically and socially charged environment, and the play is set to that. It deals with certain issues that the tenants had to deal with, certain struggles about getting equal and fair rights, and it's just the backsplash, if you will, to our story, man. Anybody know who grew up in the projects? It's like a ghetto inside of a ghetto, and that's where I sprung from. That's where I was raised. Later on, Wise moved there, and within the 3 years or 2 years of him moving there, we end up, coming out with the group. So it's all set to that. There was a lot of five percenters who lived there, and five percenters were the majority. So a brother by the name of Al Lee, he actually named it Divine Land. And a brother came down from New York one time, and he was doing graffiti on store fronts and stuff. And we had him come up the way and put it on the wall, which was I mean, it wasn't our property, but we that's how much we felt about it. You know what I mean? Because it was just mad five percenters there, so it was like Shaolin, if you will. You know
Right.
what I mean? But it was Divine Land. That's what we called it. So anybody came up there, that's what they referred to it as. And they still call it that now, even though the projects has since been knocked down. and they built some townhomes over there.
Ah,
But I'm happy for everybody who live in that area because it's a better look, and but the history is still there. You can still feel the presence of the history that it has.
right. Can you talk a little bit about your input as well as Wise's in this play?
Well, we sat down with the writers and they interviewed both of us together, and then he interviewed us individually, and they just got some information on what it was like, growing up there and things like that. And they just took what we gave them, but they also are adding their own creative twist to it. You know what I mean? Um, and that was pretty much it. We just sat down to interview with them, but we also did a lecture with the kids there one day, and we actually did some live graffiti, beatboxing, talking to them about the history of hip hop, the history of hip hop in Trenton. And some of the kids were pleasantly surprised that we actually grew up where they grew up, because it was some young ladies there who still live in that area. So it was dope, man. They got to see us interact with the kids, listen to our story, then other people, and a lot of it came from the music because the play itself is set to the the theme of our music.
Right,
So they did their research on in that way, in many different ways.
right. Father Shahid involved in this in any way?
Well, it's not an actual like a biop. It's not like our actual story. It's just the attitude and the climate in which we grew up in. So that way it's more inclusive, to whoever, because they can say, oh man, I remember that. No matter if you lived in Divine Land, Shaolin, you lived in Cabrini Green, Watts, Richard Allen, no matter where you project you grew up in, it's just set to it's more about the people there and the tenants there. So it's not my story, it's not Wise story, it's all of our story. So anybody who watch it or come out to see it will be able to see themselves in it.
Right. For those who are interested in checking this play out, when and where can they check this out?
Well, they can check it out in Trenton, New Jersey. It starts February 8th and it runs to the 25th. There's 4 nights in 3 weeks. So it'll start on the 8th from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then it'll run 2 more weeks. So it's 3 weeks in all. And those are the 4 days that people can come and check it out.
Very dope. That leads